Welcome back to my channel, Stephy P ASMR. I am back today to talk to you guys about a recent trip, a family trip that we took to Portugal, specifically the Azores. I had promised you guys a video about this trip, and it has taken me a little bit of time to gather, some talking points. I also wanted to include some pictures and some videos for you guys. I thought it was, important to include a visual, just because words alone, cannot express the beauty and the culture that is the Azores Islands. So I am including that for you guys. I also made a couple of talking points and some notes because I want to make sure that I'm being thorough. I also want to make sure that I'm trying to properly pronounce some of the villages or some of the places that we visited, and talk a little bit about the history behind some of those places that we visited. And it's impossible for me to remember everything and with accuracy. So if you don't mind, I have some talking points and I'll be looking down occasionally. But I'm also going to be including some videos and some pictures for you guys to enjoy. So you guys can sit back, you guys can enjoy the video, you guys can pay attention if that's something that you're interested in, or if it's somewhere that you guys want to visit. But if not, it could just be a chit chat background noise for you guys to unwind and maybe fall asleep to. So we'll get started. The Azores Islands is located in the Atlantic Ocean, and it is part of Portugal, but it's located about 9,000 miles west of mainland Portugal. So it's actually quite far. The Azores is a group of islands. It's actually located in the middle of Europe and North America, which is pretty cool and makes for an easier flight. The flight there is about just shy of 5 hours, which is great, and it's overnight. So if you're traveling solo or if you're traveling with kids, that definitely does make it easier, as you will, even if you're uncomfortable, inevitably fall asleep. On the way back, it's always a little bit longer. They say it's attributed to weather or going against the wind. So it does take about 6 hours and 20 minutes to get back to Toronto. But overall, a much easier flight, seeing as it is much closer to North America than mainland Europe is. It is very remote, being, islands far from the mainland. Remote, beautiful, luscious, full of scenery, full of greenery, full of agriculture is really, really big there. They actually say, and I don't know if this is factual to date, but back in 2017 when I went with my then boyfriend, now husband, they said that the population was actually more cows than humans. So if that's something you're into, somewhere where you want to be remote, somewhere quiet, somewhere peaceful and relaxing, this is definitely the destination for you and your family. The São Miguel is the largest island. That's the island that we went to in the Azores, and the one that we were at is the largest island. There is an airport there, so it's easy. When we land, we don't have to take any boats to any of the other islands. We just stay local. It's known as the Green Island, and that's obviously because of all of the greenery, endless forests. There are some places that give more of like a jungle feel. Very, very beautiful, very luscious. It's known for a lot of its volcanic lakes, or they call it the furnas, the hot springs, lots of cliffs, lots of endless ocean views, Atlantic Ocean views, which is beautiful. Because São Miguel is a long strip of island. It's quite narrow at some points, and there is one point near the middle of the island where it's so thin, the mass of land is so thin that you can see the ocean on either side of you. So that's always pretty cool. There's a mix of nature, but there's also very charming towns where you can get a lot of the historic feels, a lot of architecture. You could appreciate a lot of architecture, so it gives you the natural vibes, but it also really represents that European traditional architectural culture that is so alive in that area. So when we arrived, we actually stayed with my in-laws. My in-laws have a place in Pedreira in the region of Nordeste, and that's where we stayed. It's a small village, and it's known for quiet charm, traditional homes that they've kept and restructured, but tried to keep alive for many, many years using some of the old rocks, old brick, old stones, which is very valuable now. And it has lots and lots of rural and agricultural land. During the day, you can go to the villa, which is like almost like their downtown. Nothing like a downtown core, but it's where they have all of their shops. It's where they have the church, the local church, and where everybody goes to do their grocery shopping, where they go in the morning to have their coffee or their galon. The galon is basically coffee and milk, and I would have that without a fail every morning. And if for any reason I couldn't go down into the villa, my father-in-law would get up really early and he'd go down and get me a galao and bring it back to me. So that was always so great. So every day we would try to go down to the villa, very stroller friendly, very kid friendly. Like I said, there's no traffic. There's no such thing as traffic really anywhere on the island, unless there's some sort of construction happening, or if there's a fleet of cows crossing the road and that we have to wait for. But other than that, traffic as we know it, non-existent. But we'd go there down to the villa to basically have our morning coffee, to walk around, to have a nata, to have some snacks. Sometimes we would go down and have a bit of a breakfast if we didn't have one at home. Breakfast, going out for breakfast, sometimes it's hit or miss with the kids, because that's the first thing they want. They wake up and they can't really wait around for food. If they're hungry now. So we would usually have breakfast at home and then go out to explore, but there were some days where we would just give them a snack in the car, go down into the villa, which took maybe 6-7 minute drive, and then go have a little bit of a fuller breakfast. We would walk around, we'd go into different shops, because the town is so small, and that is basically where my in-laws were born and raised. They didn't come to Canada until they were in their early 20s. They know basically everybody there. So without a fail, when we'd go down, we would either see extended family, or we would see friends, or we would see neighbors. There were a couple people that remembered me from the time that we were there in 2017, so that was really nice. They got to see us now married with our 2 girls, which was really nice. We took lots of pictures and certainly made a lot of memories. On another day, we went down to another village called Povoação. This area is a historic coastal town. It's located on the southeast shore, and this is where the island's first settlers arrived back in the 15th century. So that was really neat. It offers traditional architecture and endless Atlantic views. As for really any area in São Miguel, again, seeing as the island is very small, you're going to have an ocean view no matter where you are. It's a really great place to walk around with the kids. There's lots and lots of stroller-friendly paths. We went down one day to have a lunch. We had a bifana. So bifanas are traditional Portuguese sandwiches, and it's made of thinly sliced pork, and it's cooked with, your salt, pepper, lots of garlic, garnished with some caramelized onions in a crusty, warm bread. It is delicious. My eldest daughter tried some; she loved it, and so we went down to have some bifanas, and it was amazing. We actually went to a local cafe to have some bifanas, and it's really cool because, and there's plenty of this, not just in the islands of Portugal, but mainland Portugal as well, which we visited in 2019. Because it's such a family friendly country, they have local shops, local cafes, and some restaurants. And right beside, almost attached, definitely in plain view, they have a park for the kids, gated off, completely fenced off, where if your kids are old enough, you can send your kids to play while you're sitting right beside the park, right beside the play area, having your coffee or having your sandwich or having some lunch. Or they can intermittently go play, come back and eat, go play, come back and eat. So it's really, really neat. I honestly haven't been anywhere like that in Toronto, but it would be so nice to have more of those places for families so that we can get out of the house a little bit more and not have to worry about the meltdowns at the dinner table or at a restaurant, because inevitably the kids are going to get bored. I give my kids 20 minutes of seated time, and then I know that clock is ticking before they get a little bit antsy. So this was really nice, and we really took advantage of this feature that's all throughout Portugal. So we had the bifanas at that quiet cafe, and then we just walked around and explored the scenery. They did a lot of stroller naps. They did a lot of car naps, which worked out just perfectly fine. On another day, we drove down to a town called Faial de Terra. It's another village with great hiking trails, amazing waterfalls, and on that particular day, we found a nice barbecue spot with a public swimming pool for the kids. So we packed some coolers with some meats and some hot dogs, some sausages, Portuguese sausages, some chicken, some burgers, some bread, and some snacks for the kids. And we had a really nice barbecue. All of the places there have the barbecue available to you, and it's completely free. There is no rental fee. There's lots of areas with shelter, with shade. Again, completely free. The public pool, that was very clean with the ocean view, completely gated off and kid friendly, also free. No entrance fee, no rental fee, no pre-booking. You just drop by with the family and enjoy a nice swim, which is also very appreciated and very different from here, to be honest. On another day, we went to visit the family farm. So as I said, my in-laws are from Portugal, so we have a lot of family there. And my father-in-law's brother still has a whole life there. He owns a farm, which they actually have called Quinta Pimentel, and that's the family last name. And they have their own business. They have hundreds and hundreds of cows. They milk the cows and distribute that milk to all over the island, which is actually very organic, very delicious. They've won a lot of agricultural prizes and recognitions for having what they call happy cows. Their cows are grass fed, all natural. They roam free and they're happy. And happy cows make for some pretty healthy, tasty milk. So they've won a lot of awards for the way that they've run their business. They've also opened up or started a tourist attraction at their farm. So they have some cows, of course, but they also have horses. They have donkeys that they offer up, some donkey rides. horse riding, horseback riding. They offer some horse wagon trips down the trails with ocean views for tourists. They have bunnies, they have chickens, they have some local cats, they have goats, they have so many animals. So basically, you can tour the farm. You can, for the kids, they can take a look at the bunnies, they could touch them, they could look at the chickens, they could look at the goats, they could see or even milk some of the cows or see how the process is done. They'll get a nice overview of all of that, and you can even have donkey rides, or you can go in the wagon and they'll take you on a nice walk through the town to get some beautiful views. So that's actually very nice. They're really busy, especially in the summer months of July and August. But I'll leave their description and some contact information in the description below, just in case anybody's ever interested in visiting them. I highly recommend it. So we went to their family farm to take the girls to go see. They have, like I said, a bunch of animals, cows and goats, donkeys, horses, chickens. The kids loved it. We got to take some fresh eggs. We got fresh goat cheese, and of course we had their milk daily. I will add, like I said, information on the farm and the types of tourist attractions. On another day, we went to another town called Pedreira dos Caldeiros, and I really hope I'm not butchering these names. This place is known for their luscious greenery, natural parks. It's located in Nordeste, where we were staying, and it's known for massive, stunning waterfalls. Their moss-covered hills, endless plants. This place does truly give a jungle-like feel. There are lots of paths, stroller friendly, where you can explore the views. You can see old water mills, streams, volcanic rock. It's mostly, like I said, stroller friendly. There were some areas where it was a little bit more rocky, a little bit more bumpy, where we didn't want to go because we didn't want to risk damaging the stroller, and then we wouldn't have a stroller for the trip, which would not be a good time. So we avoided those areas, but for the most part, the paths were smooth, the paths were nice for stroller, and it's just beautiful just to look at and explain to the girls, this is a waterfall. They've never seen a waterfall here in Canada, so here's a waterfall, here are the streams, and just even listening to the sounds of the birds, of the wind rustling through the trees, of the water falling through the rocks, trickling down the streams. It's really beautiful, and it's something that I think everybody should experience, especially if you're getting out of the city and out of just the constant hustle and bustle, just trading up the honks and horns of cars and the sound of traffic or trains, and trading that up for the Azores and the tranquility there. You can't put a price on it. And it was something very beautiful to get to experience every day, especially in attractions like this. Another place that we went to that is actually very close and dear to our heart is the Miraduro Ponta da Madrugada. This is the best viewpoint to watch the sunrise. This is actually where my husband and I got engaged back in 2017. So I'll tell you a little bit about that, little story time. Back in 2017, we also went around this time, beginning of July. And I had an idea that we were definitely going to get engaged at some point. I just wasn't sure when it was going to happen. So he had told me that he wanted to take me to this Miraduro where they have the best sunrise. But this would mean getting up at the crack of dawn, literally getting up at 5 a.m. So we did. It was July 5th, 2017. We got up around 5:30. It's about a 10-minute drive from the house. And my mother-in-law came with us. And we drove down. It was still dark. It was a little bit of a wind a little bit chilly. So I had a like just a little shawl that was covering my arms. And there were some other people there as well, some other tourists. And people go there basically to wait for the sunrise because it is the absolute best point in the island to watch the sunrise. So around 6:20, 6:22, the sun started rising. And so I was sitting on the ledge. It's like a rocky ledge. And the sun started to come up. And that's when he asked me if I wanted to marry him. And I turned around and I see my mother-in-law with her phone videotaping it. So I do have it on video. We do have beautiful pictures as well. Because as this was happening, the group of tourists that were there happened to have a professional camera, and one of them was actually a professional photographer. Go figure, our luck, right? So she came and she approached us after, and said, "Congratulations, would you guys like me to take some pictures of you guys and I'll email it to you?" And I said, "That would be amazing." So she took some beautiful pictures. I actually have some of them framed. They came out absolutely stunning. On a couple of the edits, she put the location, the date, and the exact time, 6:26 a.m., which was just so thoughtful of her. I have her email, and we did take some family pictures on this trip that we just went on with our two girls, and I tried to send her a copy of the picture over email, but it bounced back, and I don't think that's her email anymore. So maybe I'll find her one day. But it would have been nice to send her that and to just send her an additional thank you for that memory that she created for us. But we did go back to Ponta de Madrugada with the girls, and I don't know how much they understood, but we did show them, where mommy and daddy got engaged, where daddy asked mommy to get married, and that, that's the reason why they're here today and why we are a family. So that was really beautiful. And we have a neighbor that lives there who is a professional photographer, and she did offer to come with us, and she took some nice pictures of us as a family, which was really nice. And then we had lunch. The girls played with some local cats, and it was beautiful weather, beautiful day, and something really, really special that we got to recreate and experience. We also attended a local parade, and it takes place yearly in July. It's called Festa de Nossa Senhora de Luz, or Festival of Our Lady of the Light, for those who practice Catholicism, which is almost everybody there on the island. The festival begins with a procession, and it's accompanied by locals, children, bands, and members of the local parish. And they march down the streets of Pedreira, singing and basically honoring Our Lady of the Light. The whole town gathers after, for about 2 to 3 days after. They keep going down into the town to eat, to drink, to dance, and it's very family friendly. At nighttime, there's music, there's vendors, there's raffles and prizes, and they light up the local church, and it's very, very beautiful. The church looks amazing in the nighttime with all the lights. We also spent a few days visiting local parks and other viewpoints for the kids to play and explore. We packed a lot of food so that we don't have to keep buying out. And I packed a lot of food that I knew my girls would eat. And we found lots of local places to do picnics. There's picnic tables everywhere, at every park, at every viewpoint, at every corner. There's always a picnic table somewhere. So we always found a place to go and set up and have a local picnic and just let the girls run free. And it was really nice. We did a lot of walking, a lot of exploring. We also visited another town called Vila Franca do Campo, and it's located in the south coast. We walked along the harbor, we saw lots of colorful fishing boats, local markets, and of course, lots of endless ocean views We had lunch by the docks. We enjoyed some really, really great weather. And on our second last day, we had a beach day. We visited Praia Ribeira, Kent, which is along the southern coast. And this beach is known for having warmer waters, which is attributed to several underwater hydrothermal springs that are located in the area. So the water is actually very pleasantly warm. And it was our girl's first time at the beach. Well, my eldest Camila, her second time, but her first time was when she was 8 months. She doesn't remember, so for all intents and purposes, it was their first time at the beach. So we really appreciated the water being nice and warm, and the sand being nice and warm. And it was a great spot for tourists. There's also lots of amenities at this, well, all over the island, but especially at this beach. They have outdoor showers. They have restrooms suitable for families. They have lots of places to just rinse off your feet if you have a lot of sand on them. Ample free parking. I never ever had to pay for parking there. All the parking is free, and it's very close to all of the attractions. Always ramps, either for wheelchairs or for strollers or for people who just can't do stairs. Ramps everywhere, right into the beach. And lots of local cafes and little shops where you can go and get a bite. It's really perfect for just any kind of visitor. On that day, we had our later lunch, and then we headed home to get packing because we had to go back to Canada. That's kind of a highlight of our trip. This specific trip wasn't so much for too much sightseeing. There is endless amount of scenic adventures that you can do in São Miguel, and maybe I will do another video of our 2017 trip, because on that day I had a much more busy itinerary. We visited all of the hot spots. We did a lot of hiking. We saw some very, very hidden waterfalls that required a lot of walking, a lot of hiking, going up cliffs and up mountains. We had a really great time. But this trip, of course, with the girls, it was less of an adventure and more of a relaxing trip. And we just went around to see some scenery. We visited lots of parks because we wanted the girls to have an experience to just, let loose and play as well. Because while we're interested in history and in architecture and can sit and really appreciate a tranquil, scenic view for many hours, littles can't. They can appreciate it for a short amount of time, but then eventually they just want to go and play. So throughout the whole trip, Camila, my eldest, just asked for a park, or I want to go see cows. I want to go see Titi's cows. Titi is a cute way of saying uncle in Portuguese. So that's what we did. We visited the family farm a lot. We went to different parks a lot, swimming pools, and we did the beach that one day. So it was more of a trip to unwind, and something that we can enjoy, all of us together as a family. Our in-laws were great, I have to say. A plus, if any families with little kids are thinking about going on a vacation like this, if you could go with other family members that can offer up some help during the vacation, it is a win. We were fortunate enough to stay with them, so we had the house there, so we were comfortable. We had access to everything that we needed. We had access to laundry. That's amazing to be able to wash our clothes, which is almost daily because the girls are always getting in or out of something. We had the kitchen. We can cook whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted it. And then the location of the house is very remote. We have neighbors, lots of neighbors, but the cars that are going in and out are only cars that live there. So if I had to put, an approximation, I'd say one car would drive by our house once every 3 hours, if even. So the girls had plenty of space to play, to run. My in-laws got them, a soccer ball, a little kiddie pool, and literally, if you just walk a couple of steps into the backyard, you could see all of the rolling hills, and then you will see our neighbor who has 2 cows or a donkey or a couple chickens. So the girls were always running back there to see what kind of animals they were going to see. There are a couple of now some Airbnbs, but they've kept the house as traditional as possible, and inside renovated a couple things here and there, for comfort, for tourist comfort, but mostly kept the house intact, which is, I think, part of the bylaws over there, that the homes need to be kept as integral as possible when it comes to the architecture, to keep that tradition, to keep that sense of São Miguel alive, which is great. So we did see a lot of tourists. We saw a lot of people there from Germany, from Scotland, from England, from the United States, from Spain. My family's from South America, from Ecuador, so I am fluent in Spanish. So I did overhear the family speaking in Spanish, and I could tell from their accent they were from Spain. So I did say hi to them when we chatted a little bit, and I told them where we had visited in Spain and back in 2019, and then they told us where they were from, and we exchanged some stories, so that was really, really nice. But overall, there's a lot of tourists that go there to just unwind and to just relax, and lots of people go there to retire as well. They buy some property, a little bit of land, and they live the life. I really have to say. There's local trucks that come by in the morning, food trucks that come to deliver some fresh fruit. There are some that come deliver some fresh fish that it just caught down at the docks, which is amazing. Sometimes we would have just the freshest dinners or the freshest fruit for breakfast. My husband's uncle would come by in the mornings and drop off a little pail of fresh eggs from the farm, and some fresh goat cheese that he had just made. And it really doesn't get more organic or more wholesome, I really have to say. I brought tons of medicine just because you never know, especially traveling with kids. I'm happy to report I didn't have to pull it out once, not even a Tylenol, not even an allergy medication. The girls thrived. They ate everything. Nothing affected them. Nothing upset their stomach. Neither did it affect me or my husband. It was just overall a great vacation, a great experience, and I truly miss it already. And I'm already thinking about next year and maybe going again with the family, just because it's easy for us. It's not that long of a trip. You get to go to Europe without actually going to mainland Europe. You're still in Europe, but you get the island vibes, you get the tropical vibes, you get the good weather, and a short flight for Europe. 5 hours is not long. So it's easy to travel with the girls. We have the place there to stay, and there's lots of things for them to do, and it's a place where we can go and unwind and relax. And we also have the full-time help from my in-laws. So overall, it was just perfect trip, if I must say. And that's all for Portugal 2025. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I've been fortunate enough to have done a lot of traveling, whether it be South America and Ecuador, or Jamaica, or a quick trip down south to the States. Like I mentioned in a previous video, me and my husband honeymoon in Dubai. We also went to the Maldives. We've done mainland Portugal. We've done Spain. So I was thinking I can turn this video into a series, a travel series. Maybe I can do some videos periodically where I choose a destination that I have visited, include as many pictures or videos for you guys, and provide a soft spoken overview, or a highlight summary of our travels. And so if that's something that you guys would be interested in, please leave it in the comments below, and I would love to hear from you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys got to relax and unwind, and if you're asleep, then that is the goal. Have a great rest of the day or a great rest of the evening. I'll see you guys in the next video.